Reboots, reboots, reboots. You either hate them or you love them. In this case, you hate them, alright? No doubt about it. At least for most, because you see, in some cases, they're pretty good. But not a lot of good. So, I'm going to talk about reboots. Because I can. Now, why am I, Mr.Feedlestick, the woke liberal feminist, going to talk about reboots? Well, because I have nothing better to do, and I watch a lot of cartoons, and a lot of those cartoons get rebooted for my generation, but are mostly there to profit off nostalgia. And I didn't grow up with these series, so what do I know? Well, I don't give two shits about what generation I came from. I've seen the originals, so I'm going to talk about them, and how some of them were ruined, and how just two were not ruined, alright? I'm Mr.Feedlestick, your woke liberal feminist, and we're going to talk about some reboots. I don't know what the fuck this is, but I'm doing it with my hand.
It would be so awesome.
Now, the first reboot I'm going to talk about is the one that you know, and it's still going on today, and that is Teen Titans Go, which is basically, to sum it up, what Teen Titans Go is, Cocomelon, but with Teen Titan characters, because that's basically what it is. It's just made for pure dopamine maxing for young children below the age of 5. Now, I never actually knew that the original existed until about 2 years ago. And when I watched it, my entire view of Teen Titans Go changed. Because I grew up with Teen Titans Go, alright? Every day, I would hit up Cartoon Network, and watching Teen Titans Go. Because, that's all they play on that channel. They play nothing else. They have absolutely no variety. Just Teen Titans Go. Well, I would sit there, looking at the screen, dopamine maxing. But then, I discovered the original. It was a masterpiece. And the reboot just ruined everything by getting rid of an actual storyline and just making it episodic. Ruining characters by gags and just... It was just so dumbed down. Like, there's no plot, right? I guess there is technically plot sometimes, but it's mostly just episodic, and there's no more overarching storyline. And when they do, they make it a joke. I can go for that. But since this is a reboot, that's a bad decision, because now you're ruining everything that the original series did. Like, why would we like this when it makes everything a joke? Kids deserve good stories too, alright? We don't just want to watch an hour and 30 minutes of some guy shitting into a microphone. That's basically what they did, right? 90% of all the jokes in Teen Titans Go are fart jokes. Like, come on. The writer's gonna do better than fart jokes? What was the point of even making this reboot? Who was this meant for? Because, what I described is something like Cocomelon, which is for, toddlers. There's a lot of scenes in Teen Titans Go that are very adult, to say the least. I remember this one episode where they just started farting on each other. And then this fart virus, whatever you describe it as, was created from it. And that is something that probably shouldn't be shown to kids. Weird Al Yankovic is in it. That I like that. But really, the biggest problem with the show is that it didn't recreate... Well, that would be a lie. I think that it didn't remake anything that the original Teen Titans the original Teen Titans did. They remade a few episodes, but they did not remake the original arc at all. All right. I don't even know how much of the original show they remade, but it's not at some point, so that they can do just a dopamine maxing. I have a very stuffy nose. I don't know why. But yeah, that's my opinion on Teen Titans Go. It's just bad. And the production is out of control. Like, they have 12 seasons, I think. Last time I checked, it's at 11 seasons, but I'm pretty sure they made another one. It shouldn't have that much. It should have ended after 2. It really should have. Kids don't even watch cable anymore. How are they getting views for this reboot? Like, how is it made enough money, enough views to warrant 10 plus seasons? Not even the Ducktales reboot, which I'm gonna get into a minute, has that many seasons. And I would want 10 plus seasons from the Ducktales reboot. That was amazing. I gotta save that for my Ducktales review. The reboot. You'll get that, but we gotta talk about the bad reboots first. Because they're bad. You save the best for last. Yeah, that's what I think of the Teen Titans Go. I grew up on it. I used to love it. I watched the original. Started hating it. When you age, your humor changes. And, I don't really know what I considered my humor back then. But nothing about it's funny. That's kind of lied to. But you have to dig so deep into the show. And what I mean by that, we gotta look at every episode, which not even I want to do. Alright? I don't want to watch every single episode of the reboot just to find something funny. So I'm going off all my memories of Teen Titans Go, because I haven't watched it in like 8 years. That may not be a correct estimation of when I stopped. But I'm not watching it now. Armed with power, he's on the case, finding out evil from Earth in space. He's Ben 10. And they ruined him. They ruined him. Just like Teen Titans Go. Right? The original Ben 10. Amazing. Right? Extraordinary. Revolutionary. Reboot Ben. It's just not good. You want to know why? Because it does the same thing Teen Titans did. It focused on being a comedy than actually having what made the original good. Now, the original Ben 10 was episodic, alright? At least in its early stages. But the more the series went on, there was an actual plot. And it wasn't all giggles and shits. No. There was some character development. Lots of it. There was lore. There was a story. Now, here's the thing that makes the Ben 10 reboot different from Teen Titans Go. It gets better along the way. And it actually starts getting an actual plot later on. An actual story. And it continues to give in interesting lore, too. Something the Teen Titans Go reboot doesn't do. Because it just doesn't. So this reboot actually tried. Alright? Now sure, it may have ruined Ben 10 in the beginning. But the more you watch the series, it actually gets good, alright? I actually enjoyed some of the newer stuff from the Ben 10 reboot, which I didn't with Teen Titans Go. I didn't. No, I know I said I didn't really rewatch it, but I've seen a lot of clips. They're not too pleasant. But it's not as brain rotted as Teen Titans Go. Right? Because, like, the jokes, there's a lot, but it still has an actual plot. And it isn't just. I don't know what they do in the writer's room for Teen Titans Go, but the writers of the Ben 10 2016 reboot actually follow the structure of an episode and don't stay in the same location every day, every episode, every scene, and actually have problems related to the characters in the situation that they are in, right? We actually have conflict with aliens and villains. What's going on in Teen Titans Go, huh? They lost the fucking remote? But they skipped over the beginning. We didn't see Ben get the Omnitrix. No. They were like, he fights bug alien guy. I think, what is it? I don't even know I don't even remember that villain's name, but all I know is that he's a bug human hybrid thing. The villains weren't the best for the Ben 10 reboot. What I'm saying is kind of messy here. I keep on pausing at times, I think. I don't know. But I'm kind of ranting, so it's gonna happen. But the villains in the Ben 10 reboot aren't that good. They brought back some old ones. I think they did it. I think they did it quite well. No, I think they did it quite well. But just not with the newer villains. Like, one of the villains is essentially a Looney Tunes character, and it's just not for Ben 10. I don't even know how that works lore-wise. He just has sentience. I forgot his name too. Because why would I remember his name? That's essentially filler in what already felt like filler. But another long pause. They did do something very, very interesting. And I don't remember what season it is. But something that they did in the show, every season, is Omnitrix got an upgrade. And they did that in a way to pay homage to the other Ben 10 series. And that was really good. And they even introduced their own version of the Ultimatrix. That's what I call that, at least. And that's good. They actually did something interesting. Instead of just keeping it as a brain-rotted joke fest. They actually added a new concept that works in the series. Shocking. I know. And that's why it gets better the more it goes on. Because the writers treat it with respect, right? They started... Because sure, the jokes were still there, but the original Ben 10 was also still a comedy that got serious sometimes. And that's what it started to do, right? And there was this one special where all the Bens from every universe came together and fought Vilgax. And I'm going to say one thing, though. Vilgax should have won. He had Alien X, or Alien Z, whatever they called it in the reboot, and whatever his version was. But he still got folded by a bunch of 10-year-olds and teenagers. I don't know how you lose with omnipotence. It seems kind of hard. Then again, omnipotence makes things not very fun, so who knows. But still, you can do anything more than that. You got... I don't even remember how he lost, but all I know is that he had Alien X, and he still lost. And that reminds me, how the heck did Kevin make an Omnitrix And why did he have it on the tricks? Or the Negatrix? No, that was something else. I think I don't remember what his Omnitrix was, but it was a bootleg. And he somehow made one out of scraps. Because he got a dream. How the heck does that work? Where did he get the alien DNA? Where did he get that? And why is he not an alien that can absorb DNA and power and matter? Why did they change that about Kevin? I feel like that actually makes him a lot less interesting, because now he's just a guy who had a dream. And, like, come on. Like, the last guy who had a dream got shot. But they didn't go with that direction. You know, it just doesn't make sense. He made it out of scraps. You physically cannot, well, you have to have all the materials conveniently to even make something technological like a watch from scraps. Actually, no, I don't think you can. No. But the most impossible thing about it is that he had alien DNA for it, or whatever he used, because, you know, he kind of has these weird versions of aliens. I don't really know how to explain it. You just kind of have to watch the show, but, you know. And I forgot all their names, too. I don't remember alien names. All right? I only know Diamond Head, Heat Blast, Upgrade, Gray Matter, Humongousaur, Way Big, Stinkfly, Wildvine, Cannonball. Right, yeah. Those are all the... Oh, Alien X, of course. Can't forget him. Yeah. Those are all aliens act. So, you know, I don't remember their names. What else do I want to talk about? Did they give Gwen magic? I can't remember. You know, she had magic in the original. I'm not sure if they did that, though. I don't think they did. I don't remember seeing her do magic. Oh, Alakazam fucked them in the ass. You know, I don't remember them doing anything yet like that in Reboot. So, I'm gonna say she didn't. But if you guys know, you tell me. But that wouldn't really change my opinion on the reboot, because, you know, they already ruined Kevin. So I can't think much about it. But yeah, you know, it starts off bad, but it evolves and gets good. And, you know, I actually suggest that you watch this reboot, because first off, lore. Second off, it actually gets good. You know, I think they had like 2 movies made of it. I think. I could be wrong. I know there is 1 movie, and that was a remake of the first Ben 10 movie, where you got way big and stuff. I bet that's all I remember from those movies. But yeah, you know, you should actually check out this reboot. Gets good. Trust me, bro. And, guess we move on to our next reboot on the list.
Ducktales, whoa!
Finally, the moment we've all been waiting for. The only technically good reboot on here. And that being Ducktales 2017. It's just great. It's even better than the original. And that's hard to pull off, right? The original was already quite good, but it wasn't amazing. But the reboot, it was just amazing. First off, it didn't have shit animation. And that's something that a lot of reboots suffer from, right? They always have terrible animation that is just a downgrade of the original. Like with Teen Titans Go and Ben 10, right? Those are problems that I didn't mention. But I only wanted to add them here because DuckTales actually had stunning animation. Like, it wasn't like, let's say, modern anime level animation, but it was still they cared about what they were making. All right, they weren't just trying to make dopamine maxing. No. In fact, they did. They actually cared about plot. They actually cared about plot and character because they added a lot of character development. A lot. Like, there are things that I don't even think were part of the original story that they added that made it way better. Now, I'm not sure how people think of the DuckTales reboots ending, alright? Because a lot of shit happens, but I think it was amazing. And apparently, a lot of people didn't like how the Owl House ended, which, is fair, but, I also like that. So I think people don't. I think the majority opinion on the ending of DuckTales is negative, but, I liked it, alright? That, if it is a negative opinion, just so you know, my opinion on it is that it was very exquisite. And, Huey, Louie, and Dewey. Yeah, that was their name. They gave them their own voices. You can just give them Donald Duck's voice. Now, that wouldn't usually be a problem. But when you have 4 characters with that same voice, it gets annoying, alright? It only works for Donald, because that's his thing, and giving it to somebody else makes it not special. I'm glad they changed that. I'm glad they did, right? You might say, oh, it's not in the original, but, do you really want to hear 4 Donald Duck voices going on at the same time, which you cannot differentiate at all? And, some design changes. I don't know what happened to that. All the triplets look the same, which isn't a problem for triplets, but their clothing is the same, besides for some color changes. But then, their designs were still simple, because, all they had were shirts that were different colors, and no hats for some, and then one. I mean, it's not much you can do with duck clothing, I guess. They could have done something better. But, that isn't actually a problem that I have. Since I was bringing up design and animation previously, I think it was only fair that I brought it up. Obviously, that isn't a problem. And it's just, so much more character. Like, Scrooge, right? Scrooge, he had a lot more added to him in this reboot. Like, I'm not sure. I'm gonna be saying that for a lot. Cause, I never completed the original DuckTales, but from what I've seen, I'm not sure if there was any trauma or guilt from Scrooge's past with Della. But their choice to add that he felt responsible for the reason why she's gone, it just added so much character that he didn't have, right? He was already quite good in the original, because, he wasn't entirely good. He was greedy. He was selfish. He didn't want to have them around, but then he grew with them. But this adds so much more plot, because, now it creates tension in the family. It's like, what the fuck, man? And, that's another thing. Della. I'm not sure what her deal was in the original, if she even appeared. But she's one of my favorites. Of course, my favorite being Wendy. What's her name, right? Yeah, it was Wendy. I don't know how I'm forgetting this. Right, but, Della's just a great character, She's very flawed. That's what makes a character good. A flawless character is a bad character. Unless, of course, that's the exact purpose with the character, and their character arc is them getting flaws. But of course, nobody really does that. She's irresponsible. She's reckless. She's not even a good mom. Nor does she know how to be a good mom. And that's good, right? That's what makes learning interesting, right? You learn. And a Huey Dewey movie. I didn't, like I said, I didn't watch it a fullest, but and their relationship wasn't as complex as it is in the reboot, as in the original. They just added a lot about family in the reboot that the original didn't include. Now, see, they're still pretty similar. Like, it's not just your blood relatives that are family. But it did it in a way that it's just better. It's just better quality. Better storytelling. About all I can say. And it still kept the comedy thing that all reboots tend to go for, And that's not a problem here. Because it's tamed, alright? It's controlled, alright? It's not just joke. No. Oh, they space them out. They have very good pacing. So the jokes land and they're actually funny and not fart jokes. I don't think there's a single fart joke in it at all. I don't think there is. I really want to talk about a lot of the character arcs in this, but that would require me to do another rewatch, and I don't really have Disney Plus right now, so I can't do a full character death analysis. I'm talking about what I remember. I had to do that for all of these because I don't remember a lot. But just so you know, if I remembered every single character arc, this video become a Ducktales video. It'd be about 3 hours long, explaining why and theorizing why Scrooge McDuck is conservative and every other character arc. I'd probably do that. Like we know who he is. But theory video. I'm probably not gonna do that though. It seems kind of pointless now. But yeah, this reboot's just so amazing, and it's really sad how short-lived the reboot was because it didn't get enough views. It's sad that that's what we rely on for TV shows, like the Kids Little House, supposedly because there wasn't enough views, not enough viewership. We all know it was because it was too gay for Disney. I bet if Ducktales has some LGBTQ plus in it, they'd get canceled too. Like, immediately. But, they had a very good run. They didn't overstay their welcome. It's been a while since I checked up on Liz, Maybe I should do that. Let's go see what she's doing.
How's it going, Coco Little?
You fucking suck. Well, that's about gonna do it for this 30 plus long video of me ranting about cartoon reboots because I had nothing better to do. Didn't think it would be that long, but I had a lot to say about the reboots. A lot to say. So yeah, I don't know how to end videos, so maybe I just end it here. Why am I not sitting at my desk? This is where I film every video, by the way. That's a thing. That's a pool table right there. I don't know why I'm not. And I abandoned the microphone gag to. Oh well. Yes, that's. I guess that's where this video ends. Like and subscribe before I get another voice crack.